25 grand.
Okay,
If I can fix
we are
all
going
and
live. We are going live. So be warned to stop talking about anything that you shouldn't be talking about, or you don't want to be publicly on display. That's probably.
I'm not running for office.
Yeah. You know, I've had a swap around in my studio, which is my bedroom, and I don't know whether or not you can tell that anything's changed from your end. Can you tell that anything's changed?
Yeah, you've put a bookshelf on your right end behind you.
Yeah. Well, this used to be there.
Behind, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's moved round. So I now have
have you turned your bed around as well?
No, my bed's still there. You just can't see it.
I can't remember seeing the corner.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, everything's like the same, but something's.
Yeah, it's not. I normally cover it with my huge head, but now my iMac is there. So when I'm doing video streaming from there, it's a better backdrop because you see this in the background rather than my bed and my untidy wardrobe. But I'd suddenly realised that I had nothing to monitor the stream on.
Because it's behind you.
So I have a MacBook Pro here. So that's basically.
How many Apple products are we buying now?
Well,
a lot of Apple products.
Have you done the update?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so I have an Apple Watch, an iPhone, an iPad, a MacBook Pro, an iMac. I did have a MacBook Air, but I gave it to my niece to go away to university for work purposes. That was 6 years ago. I've never seen it since. I have.
Did you have like Black Bill and Steve Jobs or something?
No, I really like Apple products. I really do.
These are too expensive for us normal people.
The problem is, I mean, I got an iPhone and then got the AirPods too, the AirPod Pros to go with them, and then I got the watch, and then I thought, oh, what a Samsung phone, and I went, I can't get a Samsung phone because I've got a bloody Apple Watch and I've got these bloody pods in me.
Yeah. Oh yes, I have AirPod Pros as well.
Yeah. And you're kind of stuck with it now because once you get one accessory, it won't work with anything else.
That's the thing. Once they've dragged you into their environment, what do they call it? There's a word for it.
Dungeon.
Yeah.
It's actually called a cult. I don't know.
Yeah. Once you've been dragged into their cult, you are there forever. Yeah. You know. But I do like how everything quite naturally talks to each other. But Apple cannot match a gaming PC. It honestly cannot.
That's right.
You know, so my
right.
Yeah, so my go for it.
iMacs are not for gaming. No.
Take that, iMessenger crowd.
I think the one thing about Apple products and gaming is that the Apple OS for each device uses a lot of power compared to something like Windows or.
Well, I'm Adobe fanboy, so everything I use is Adobe. So I use Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Illustrator, and everything. But my iMac copes with that a lot better.
That's what it's designed for.
Yeah, exactly. And I have things like I have a trackpad on there, so I can just move it. And the interesting thing is that I can use my iPad Pro as another screen and just drop things from the iMac down below onto the iPad Pro. So I mean, it's fine.
Anyway, years ago, he said he bought an iMac for gaming. I said, "Why are you doing that?" Oh, because it won't get hacked. You get viruses and things on PCs all the time. iMacs, you don't.
Wrong.
Yeah. Leave that there.
Yeah, exactly. Ecosystem. That was the word I was looking for. Once you buy into the Apple ecosystem, you're there for life, and there's no way you can possibly escape. Anyway, hello everyone. I've got to do a stretch for Luke. I don't know if he's still here. You probably won't hear this, so it'll look really peculiar.
Should we all do it?
Yeah. Do you hear my sound effects when I play my sound effects?
Like I just heard that.
I played it once, and somebody said that's very sexual.
It was.
I'm just all like thinking, what?
They have a point.
It wasn't. I didn't mean it to be sexual at all. Welcome to Luke and Whiskey River. Whiskey River, your name is the hardest name for me to pronounce because when I was little, I had to have speech therapy because I couldn't say w and r. They both. So Whiskey River is really difficult for me to say. I couldn't say either. My internet state is unstable, so hang on in there, everyone. Hang on in there. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. We've had our summer vacation, and we're coming back strong now. Is Mr. Pickles still there?
I think I am.
I haven't heard you.
So-
I haven't heard you. Is he?
Most of his reactions have been like this for the last 20 minutes every time I say something stupid. I just know he's still around by that. But yeah.
Yeah. So just to let you know, Captain, you can swear in this session.
TVMA, motherfuckers.
I have I just have to go back. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to listen if you say, but they're all whether or not, and I cut out those words, whether or not it still
Everyone thinks I'm having a stroke or something.
yeah, whether or not it still makes sense, or because you're on a different track, I might just cut you out altogether.
Honestly, do the beep thing. Do the beep. Every time I cuss.
Or I might put a bit of background noise so it sounds like you just glitched out or something like
Seagulls.
Oh, that's good.
yeah. Or
What they do in SpongeBob, the little what do you call it? Like a sound of a dolphin.
is that what they do?
Yeah, it's SpongeBob. When they're supposed to be cussing.
Isn't that a cartoon?
Back
It
in 30
is.
seconds.
I was wondering whether or not I could replace the word by more an acceptable one for the so you say sort of like, yeah, they can be really, and also my voice goes on and says nice people, and
Dub yourself in.
then it comes back to you, or nasty people. You know, over the top. But I will have a look at it. I've been at work Friday and today, so that is postponed to next week. So hello everyone, and welcome. We're playing Mythras tonight, which is a fantasy role-playing game. The party are early on in an adventure that they've been doing for a while. They're actually in search to banish or kill the Harpy Queen that is called Chehelia, and they ended up last time in the cave of Matilda, who was a soothsayer who provided them with some explanations and a weapon and the location of a map that they can follow to actually reach the temple of Chehelia and hopefully defeat her or banish her. But before I expand on that any further, I'm going to allow the players an opportunity to say who they are and who they will be playing tonight. And as always, we start with the stoic, the person in the background all the time, the supportive character, Mr. Pickles.
That's me. I'm Mr. Pickles, and I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our theist, of course. He has a lot of powers through his goddess, the moon goddess Amriel. He can heal people, he can calm people, he can protect from spirits, he can take disease and poison out of you, he can lay your spirit to rest, he can make it so you can't even pick up your sword too properly. He can do all kinds of things. That's pacify, by the way.
Oh, I was lost then.
Basically anything. He is great at protective spells and boosting people's abilities, but he doesn't really do much well in combat. Yeah, he's not a fighter, but he does have a quarterstaff that he's been training to use defensively, so that at least I'm not being thrown on the ground to take no damage, but still on the ground. He also has a lot of the knowledge skills in the group. He specializes in history, monsters, poisons. Well, actually, that's about it. But he also has a number of skills related to the people he knows, which, well, actually doesn't really apply here too much because the friend of the guards ability isn't going to bring the guards running to us when we're fighting harpy things.
Not at all. But you do have some acolytes. Didn't you bring them? Yeah.
That's right.
I think you just left them at the tavern. I don't know whether you did anything with them.
Oh no.
I think.
I was gonna say that. I was questioning like what happened to them. Didn't we mention?
Oh,
You're gonna go back to be starved to death.
I know what's happening with them, Billy.
Very low perception.
They're all just going
and is
back their
often
lives.
praying or thinking about his goddess and trying to ascertain what the vague messages she has could mean. He does not notice things all the time. And with that, I'll pass the microphone to our other caster, Mr. Captain Kangaroo.
Okay, I just want to first say, hey guys, I'm Captain Kangaroo. Is this blurred out?
Yeah.
So they're blurring out the sign of what?
Yeah.
That's Zoom. You're weird. All right.
It's a phallic object.
Oh, that makes sense.
We can't have product placement in this. I tell you.
Delicious. That's some hot vodka. Anyways, everybody, I'm Captain Kangaroo. I am playing Cyrus Alias. He's kind of like he's the sexy one in the group. He's the one, if he wanted like a nice princess seduced and whatnot, you're going to him to kind of take care of things. But in all honesty, he's also like a spellcaster, able to kick some butt with that, and he's able to hand himself with this nice long, not shaft, it's a glaive.
Glaive, and it's not long.
It's it's at least above average. But he's able to handle himself there, just some nice twists and turns, and really, his combat style is a battle dancer, so he's really down to really bring it down. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, I'm going to send the mic back to Medevac and have him say stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a mouthful of cherry.
We all.
Yes. I don't say that. Right. Hi, everybody. I'm Medevac, and I play Halfred Khan. He is a nomad. He wears quilted armor, which does not look anything like pajamas. He likes to fight with a spear and a scimitar. He does like to throw his spear, and hopefully these days he does get it back. He's very good at tracking, very good at hunting, and extremely good in combat. He's also a friend of the Dryads, which we met them in a previous adventure where we helped them, and they taught me a few things and showed me what was what, and we've come across here to kill a Harpy Queen. That's all I'm going to say now. I'm going to pass it on to Max. Sorry, I fumbled.
I'm Max. I play Rohan, a rogue that's kind of in over his head. He was not expecting to be forced to fight what is essentially a god on his first great outing.
But he's doing well so far.
And he did pretty good in the first session against the Harpies, but, well, he's kind of getting his comeuppance.
He's just not performing as well with kelp. That's basically, Harpies you can deal with.
That's all.
Yeah, Harpies you can cope with. Kelp, maybe not so.
Apparently anything to involve the sea is bad luck. So
That is true.
You are shouting for help, are you? Not just shouting kelp.
It's all right. Hazra hasn't done very well with the sea either. He's just avoiding that bit at the moment.
By the way, did anyone bring a blowhorn so that way, just in case one of us get a little distracted and just. Sorry, what's up?
Max, is there anything else you want to say about
Rohan? I don't think to say anything else. It's all just been bad luck involving the sea.
I do hope you get your chain out today. I really do. I think that's good.
Come on, man, you're not supposed to spoil this.
I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. Anyway, so if you have heard about a character or play that you would really like to support, then you can do that by donating either £1 English sterling pound or 100 bitties. You will give that player an additional luck roll. These luck rolls can actually save the player's characters from complete death. So they are always very grateful for you to donate the bitties so they can get the luck points. Or if you are feeling particularly nasty to them and you're not friends of the players, but more friends of the DM, then by all means you can give bitties to me as well, and I will get the luck rolls to use against the party. So it's a win-win situation. Also, if you would like to further support the sessions, then you can go over to the Ko-fi site, where you will find various tiers that you can subscribe to support the players and allow you also to have a behind the scenes look at the campaign worlds, both Mythras and also M-Space. And if you are a GM or DM, there's a free encounter sheet there that you can download, and then others taken from the game that you can have a look at as well if you wish. Just on bitties, just on luck, you as a party, you still have 1 luck point left from your Hazra, your monthly due. So there's 1 left on that. Apart from that, you're all back up to normal luck point.
Did we get 2 donated as well, or do we use those?
According to my records, everybody used the one that has been donated, and then you've got 1 left from your 2 Hazra that you normally have. That is up to anyone, I think, too.
Do you know, when you're doing your bitty thing about donating bitties and £1 sterling, have you ever thought about doing it like one of those adverts, you know, where they force a child to drink dirty water while you can donate 100 bitties. These poor adventurers.
I did think about saying you can donate 100 bitties to keep your favorite character alive for this session. And if not, they suffer a gruesome death sometime during the thing. But I thought that might be maybe close to the end. Maybe closer to the end of the adventure. Okay, so if you remember, players, we got to the point that you were at Matilda's. Matilda was a soothsayer, a hermit that lived down by the sea, and you all, well, almost all of you, enjoyed her fish head soup and found it very, very nice and very fulfilling. Rowan, I'm afraid you didn't like it and made a mess in the sand. But while you were there, she gave you 2 pieces of information. The first thing that she gave you was a dagger that its hilt was encrusted with shells. And she mentioned that this is something that has been passed down from her mother, grandmother, etc. And the weapon is the only thing that can kill or banish Shehelia. And you're not too sure what or how to do it, but she did regale you with a brief poem or ballad or something like that that said, "As the winds do howl and toil, the blood beneath will churn and boil. Then through faith the curse will come and settle on the only one. Within her hand the blade will slice through bone and sinew, flesh and hide. Towards its prize it will plummet low, and as darkness falls the queen will go back to the place she once was secured, the place from which her followers lured. Her life will end yet once again, and the world will be free of her deadly reign." And I said at that point that if anybody would like to, in a sort of like hour blocks, try to understand what the riddle is all about or the song is about, then you have that option. She also told you about a certain person, and she related to you about a blue sorcerer called Barton Saltwater. Do you remember that part? Yeah. And he was on board the Sorcerer's Favor, and it is rumored that he has a map that can actually lead you to the temple. So it appears now that you've got the means to defeat Shehelia with the dagger and the cryptic verse. But the next thing that you really need is this idea of a map. And if you remember, she told you that the sorceress Father ran aground and was virtually destroyed on a sandbank. And what happened there, nobody's been able to get out there to retrieve it because it is now guarded. Did we get to the point that I told you what it was guarded by?
Yes.
No. Did we?
The Death Pincer Beast, a giant crab.
Yeah, that's right. The Death Pincer. So that is the name that the giant crab has. It's called Death Pincer, and it's rumored to live. It's only rumored. There's various tales Matilda tells you of horrific deaths, but it actually lays on the sandbank submerged. So you might see the wreck, but not the crab, watching for prey. And of course, when the high tide happens, the whole area is underwater. And at that point, the crab is rumored to go off and feed if it hasn't managed to grab any prey during low tide. Yeah, and that's it. And that's where there is rumored to be this map that leads to the Temple of Shehelia. So at that point, you are still in Matilda's cave. Is there anything that you would like to ask her? Anything you would like to engage in chatter with her before you set back to Winvine, if that's what you want to do?
I'm confident that we have all the information we can get out of this lady.
Oh, it feels like we've been here for 3 weeks, though.
You have. You've been slurping up fish head stew for various amounts of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so she
has turned into a skeleton.
yeah, it just hasn't eaten anything in days, and Matilda seems to be very pleased with your hospitality, your skills of social interaction. And she says things as you're leaving, things like, "No, you be careful. You be careful with that dagger. I'll want it back once you're finished with it." You know, and she sort of like, "I got to pass it down to my successor as well." You know, and she then sort of like says, "Oh, and if you see Barton Saltwater, send him my love with you." And it's sort of like you get this feeling that there might have been something between them, but if you also remember, there was something between the bard in the tavern and Matilda as well. So whether or not she's a bit of a person who sleeps around, you're not too sure.
Oh, we know she's a little everywhere.
So
once you've had that fish head soup.
So as you approach the entrance to the cave, the kelp retracts that hangs over the cave entrance, and you see that the tide has started to roll in. The pathway across the wave-cut platform is now about mid-calf, knee-deep, and you can see that you can see that the kelp has released itself off the flat rocks and is sort of like floating. And you can see that there's a rhythmic flow of water coming in and out. And Matilda looks at you all and says, "Now, don't be afraid. The kelp won't hurt you on the way out, only on the way in, if you're not welcome here." And she sort of like ushers you onto the platform and sort of like waves at you, but if you turn around and wave back, she just seems to ignore you and go back into a cave. So you're at Matilda's side of the wave cut platform at the moment. Like I say, it's half calf up to knee deep. You're going to have to wade through it, and because of the kelp, you can't actually see what's underneath it.
Underfoot.
Yeah.
Well, I'll lead the way, but I want to use my spear as in just poke it down before I move forward. I sort of test the ground and then move forward.
Got you.
Everybody, follow me. full of step by step. And then I'll just go.
Okay. Hang on. Somebody just asked me whether or not my middle screen is frozen, but it's just the one of the cart that. So I've just moved it around a bit, but it's not. We're just not using it. Yeah. So can you make me a perception check, Hazra, as you lead the party across? Who's going after Hazra?
I'll go after Hazra, but I will. I'm gonna do something really quick.
Okay, yeah. What would you like to do?
I'm going to change my body into a duck.
Get swept out to sea.
Yeah.
Well, duck or would a seagull make more sense? I'll do seagull. I'm going to turn into a seagull.
Just to remind magic users, you haven't replenished your magic points or anything from last time yet, so you're still So you can sort of like try and blend yourself and change yourself into a duck. So I can't imagine that you're going to change much. Probably just what the duration, is that what you're going to do? Yeah, and that's probably it. You don't need to do any unless you want to change everybody into ducks, which I think will be a really fun thing to do one time. There's just turn the whole party into ducks. I think that would be brilliant.
Well, I try to think of who has the only person. I think Medevac and I'm probably Max are probably the only ones that have like low willpower. So
well, if it's if they agree, they won't have they don't have to make. So
that's gonna be a great way of sneaking into places without being seen.
Yeah.
Turn us all into birds and we just fly in.
And it won't take me long to send a whole load of hawks after you. It'd be like sword in the stone. Yeah. Or those invisible nets that you just all fly into and sort of like stuck in there. Okay, roll your invocation skill. You can pop with a C. Oh yeah, so that's good because I think that means it'll be easy because you could take minutes over it. It's not a problem. So that would actually be a critical, which I think therefore, does it just take half? I know for folk magic it's nothing, but I was thinking that Mr. Pickles say something like no.
No, he wouldn't say, would he?
Right. Hello. Let's have a look. But
I don't remember.
Only one half. Yeah, only one half of the magic points are. So you'll just lose one instead of two. So that's good. And you turn into a duck, and probably like a bit of an eider duck, or maybe a mallard duck, or a golden eye duck, or tufted duck. Do you have any preference?
Stop saying duck.
I'll go a mallard duck.
A mallard duck, yeah.
Mallard.
Yeah, so you got a nice green head. You're a male duck. You notice far off there's another female duck that sort of like gives you a sneaky quack as she sees you there floating around. Are you going to fly or float or swim?
I'm going to float.
Yeah.
Waddle.
So you can actually overtake Hazra if you wish, because you'll be able to swim a lot better. Is it Bartleby then Rohan in the order that appears on the map?
I'd like to go ahead of Bartleby.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's right.
I'm busy thinking about, what if I can bring Amriel to all of the birds?
Yeah.
There's so much room for conversion.
Yes.
I can save them.
Cyrus, just make a willpower check.
Oh, Jesus. Is this where like I decide living life as a bird's better and I just decide to eat?
Drunk as a duck.
Would you like to use a luck point or not?
Sarah's going to be making some eggs.
Fertilize in the mix. Yeah, screw it. I'll reverse it.
Yeah, so you start swimming away, and Hazra, you notice Cyrus, as a mallard duck, starts to swim across, and you do notice that he almost keeps turning his beak towards, or his bill towards, the kelp, as if it could be something quite interesting to eat, and he sort of like keeps sort of like dipping down, but he seems to be resisting the urge to actually eat the kelp. The kelp, of course, is magical, and you are now released for you to pass through as humans to the opposite side. But yeah, there was nothing mentioned about ducks getting rite of passage, but I'm not going to suck you underwater. Cyrus finishes over the wave cut platform first. Yes. And the rest of you, Hazra, as you come across, you do come across, if you remember, there was 2 skeletons in the kelp. You do come across one of them as you're walking back, you know, making sure that you're on firm ground. You can just ignore it if you wish. It's not stopping you in any way. It's just that you've come across it, and so if you wanted to do anything with it, you can do if you wish.
I'm searching for magical items now. Keep going.
Yeah, and when you sort of like make your way across the platform through the kelp, Cyrus, are you turning back into a human when you get to the opposite side, or you're keeping in? Yeah, and Cyrus sort of like flourishes back with a flourish of feathers, and you make your way up the cliff path. If you remember, you had left Brutus and the wagon, like you see on the screen at the moment. That's where you had left him. You had kept him up there. I'm just making sure you're on the same screen. Yeah. And so that's all there. There's absolutely, seems to be slightly bad-tempered, Hazra. He doesn't appreciate being left. He's quite moody about it.
Well, as I get there, I can see this, and I'll go into the back and I'll get his little feed bag out, and I'll bring it round and just let him just snuffle into it and pat him on the head, saying, "Yeah, sorry, Brutus, I won't leave you again."
To start off with, he sort of like turns away from it and refuses to accept it. But in the end, the smell of food gets the better of him, and he starts chomping down on it. Now, it's getting to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So the question remains for you now. Do you wish to start heading back to Winvine now, or do you wish to camp here before you go back? What's going to be the plan?
Well, are we going to go back, or are we going to go look for this blue wizard? The blue wizard's a different direction.
Do we know generally where this shipwreck should be in relation to where we are?
Nobody asked. You seem to remember that Matilda said it was somewhere off the coast from Winvine, which is further south, not off the coast from her. You'll either, you figure, I mean, it's not going to be close to the pier or anything like that. It's definitely going to be some distance out. So it's either that you're going to need to hire somebody to take you out there, or find a way to get all 4 of you out there in one go, and back, of course. There's also the question whether or not you want to go at low tide or high tide. High tide, it will all be underwater, so you will be required to swim and hold your breath underwater unless anybody has a method of water breathing at their disposal. Or you go at low tide and see whether or not you can defeat Death Pincher. Or is Death Pincher just a rumor? You're not too sure.
Well, I think that answers the question of where we're going next. At least we need to go to town to get some more details and some help.
Yeah. So do you wish to travel through the night? That's basically my question. Or do you want to sit and camp
I think
here?
we'll camp here. We're new to this area. I'd rather be safe and travel at night until we're familiar. So travel during the day until we're familiar with it.
Got you.
So yeah, I'll start gathering some wood and just build a small fire sort of in that little crop there, so it keeps it covered.
Yeah. Do you want to position whatchamacallit, Brutus where you want him to be, etc.? So we've got, I'm sure I have got a campfire. So used it before. There we go. So where did you want it, Ezra?
Just there.
There, yeah. Oh, so in like that, that crux.
And then that way we can sit in, like, facing outwards. We can sit there to keep watch if need be.
Okay then. So yes, and roll your survival skill. Let's see whether or not you are able to make sure you've got rations quite naturally, but yeah, you managed to catch 2 rabbits, quite plump rabbits, which is quite nice, and so you can set about cooking them on the fire. You will, I presume, you want to set watches through the night. So if you give yourself a number, just to remind people, if you go on, I forgot you had wild cooking. Yeah, nice. Yes. Nice, yeah. Just to remind you, if you click onto your token, then the symbol that is not a cog, if you click that, you'll get a whole load of colored dots. And if you hover over the dot and press a number key, it will put a number. So you can see, like, Bartleby's done it to say he's going second in the watch. Okay, so if anybody can't do it, I'll do it for you. No problem. So
I'll go 4.
So Rohan, you're first.
Yeah, this suspicious fella. We'll have him go first. We're all fine.
The one with the daggers. The one with the daggers.
The one that wouldn't eat the fish soup.
Yeah.
Have you managed to find the button, Max?
I'm a little confused.
So if you click on your token.
Yep, click on the token.
And then down at the bottom, there'll be a cog and a dot, a circle.
Okay, so the dot one. Okay.
Yeah,
I was just wondering. I was like, is it one of those colored ones?
Yeah, no. And then if you click on it, all the colored buttons would come up. Okay. Right. Instead of clicking the button, hover over it and press a number key. 1. There you go.
Sick.
Then we know you're on. Oh, Hazra's dead. Yes.
The rabbit wasn't that good.
Okay then. So I just need to know where people are going to be sleeping and where you're going to be keeping watch. Rohan.
They'll choose their places first.
Oh, Cyrus is going right near the front end of Brutus.
Right next to Brutus.
Right, yeah, but near
what happened to your head?
Yeah, but luckily near the front end and not the... I don't think Cyrus goes into the bag of wagons anymore after his journey down to Irwood. That was... Hazra sleeping in the wagon, yeah?
Yep.
Bartleby, are you settled there?
Yeah, down to the south side. I have a question. You had mentioned trying to break the puzzle, and Bartleby is a bit of a thinker rather than a perceiver. So,
yeah,
I was wondering at what point would he be able to start working on that balance?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. What we can do is that we can have a go at it now, which would be your well, it's up to you. You need to think of hours. So you would have to probably work through the first watch that Rohan is taking. So that would be the time that you actually try to crack the puzzle. And then you would do your own watch because you're second, aren't you? Yeah? And then you would sleep. So that would allow you. I mean, you can sleep after midnight to dawn. That's absolutely fine. You still got enough hours sleep there. Okay, then. So what I would like you to do is you need your intelligence is your conflict pool. So whatever your intelligence is, that is your conflict pool. And to actually crack it, your skill is going to be 5 times your intelligence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. This one.
I like these odds.
Yeah. Right. I just need to. I don't have my book on. It's all right. I'll improvise. Okay then. So, so I've got my pool and my skill as well. So you can actually have 2 within the hour. Okay. So we'll probably have about 4 goes. And then it'll be your watch. If you wish, you can continue doing it through your watch. But therefore, if you're required to make any perception checks, they will be at hard. Because obviously you're not giving your full attention. So let's start off with the first hour. So you're going to have 2 rolls. So let's do the first roll to start off with.
Yes. I'm going to use my idea and memory roll since that's the same number.
Yeah.
My intelligence is a 14, so it's a 70.
That's.
I didn't want to roll manually each time.
Sorry, I just rolled. I'm going to keep it. I rolled it, but it came up on the Dungeon Masters instead of everybody. But I rolled 100. I actually rolled. So you will win this one. You will win this one. So you need to roll a 1d6 for me, and we'll see what we reduce by.
That's not how you roll, Mr.
No.
Pickles.
Oh. Down to 94. Okay then. So second roll for this hour. Bartleby, what are you on? What you on? Okay.
Does that double the dice?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. But you still get a 1d6.
Can I get a special against this this thinking?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You roll your 1d6, and because
There's my special.
Nice.
So at this point, certain things you start to unpick a bit of detail, and this is with your critical roll that I'm giving you this. So you haven't solved the puzzle yet.
Can you use compel?
Surrender.
Yeah, not compel surrender information.
Pressing his advantage over it. Okay, so you might have picked this up already. Okay, but there is a female pronoun used in there, and that actually says within her blade, within her hand, the blade will slide. Okay, so you start to pick up that there's actually seems to be a female link to this, and you're quite, you look around your group and you start to think, but is it a case that the her is actually referring to Chehelia, and rather than being 2 people, is that line really saying within Chehelia's hand, the blade will slide through bone and sinew, flesh and hide? Is it actually her who's doing the sliding? Okay, let's do some more rolls. You got a bit. I've succeeded, by the way. Okay, you get higher than me, so you need to roll me a 1d6.
Yes. I'm thinking so much. Not really.
Ouch. That takes me down to that. Okay, and another 1d as you try to unpick what's happening. I get a 65. I beat you this time.
Could I spend a point of luck to reverse that to a 3?
You certainly can, yeah, by all means, because therefore that would actually make you a critical, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, so you can roll another 1d6 for me.
Steaming from the ears. A 2.
Okay, so because you got a critical, I'm going to give you another little piece of information. You do think that later on in the verse, it's when it talks about she once was secured, the place from which her followers lured her. That definitely refers to her prison, that one of your goddesses actually stopped, banished her to it. Although you do think that at the next line does seem to be almost like suggesting that she could die. It does mention that her life will end, and yet again the world will be free. So rather than banishing her, it does almost like refer to that she might be dying, and the blade might kill her. Could you make a willpower roll, please?
Yes.
Okay, so you're deep in thought with this and going over it and thinking about it. And Rowan, your watch comes to an end, and you go across to Bartleby, who seems to be deep in thought. He might be jotting things down with things, and you sort of like say to him, Bartleby, it's your watch. And he seems to be almost like mesmerized with what he's doing. He doesn't seem to take any notice of you at all. He doesn't respond to you in any way. So, Rohan, what would you like to do? Could get a burning stick from the fire.
Just kick him.
Throat. Just daggers.
I'm going to. He's writing, right?
I don't know. Are you writing, Bartleby? Whatever it is, he's in.
Bartleby is more of meditating almost. He's deep in thought and probably just staring up at the sky.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any paper on him.
Yeah. So more sort of like.
I'm gonna push him over because he's probably just like sitting there, just.
Yeah. Okay. So roll your brawn roll for me.
Oh, this is gonna be embarrassing if you can't push over a little priest.
So you sort of like go over and sort of like push him slightly, and he sort of like rocks to one side, but comes back. Unless you want to roll again with a point of luck, reversing it won't help, but you could roll again if you wish.
Yeah, I'll use a point of luck here. Yeah, sure. I'll try again. I'll try one more time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So you rethink your strategy and you then push him again. And Bartleby, you sort of like fall over towards the rock face. And that, yeah, and yeah, and dying. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and Cyrus and Hazard, you wake up with Rohan stood over Bartleby's dead body.
Leave him alone, you bullet.
So Bartleby, you sort of like suddenly come round, and you were almost like meditating, seeing the words in front of you, seeing almost as if your goddess was sending you imagery of what it could be. And Rowan sort of like pushes you, and you sort of like fall over, and that brings you out of your mesmerization. Yeah, Rowan, what would you like to say to Bartleby?
You're on watch, book boy.
What? No. I've been only focusing for just a few minutes. How it hasn't been hours.
It's been hours.
You Bartleby, you do look up at the sky, and your goddess, the full moon, is very high in the sky, and so Rohan is telling you the truth. You nearly missed your communing with your goddess.
That's embarrassing. Sorry, Rohana is just deep in thought. I will take the watch over.
Okay, Rohan, whereabouts are you going to sleep?
Is Bartleby sitting in the same spot?
Bartleby, are you moving or are you staying there? You normally climb up on top of a rock somewhere.
I thought that was Hazard that climbed.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'm not coordinated. No, I usually go out into a more open area, so that's where I sleep. This is probably where I go out,
Okay.
and so I can view the sky and look around. And
I want to sit by the fire.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you all settle down, and Bartleby, you need to make a willpower roll.
but maybe I could just think about this problem a little longer.
Yeah, you do actually feel that you keep getting drawn back to it, and almost like you keep wanting to think about it more. It's as if it's got a hold on you, and it's always pulling you back. And you sometimes sit there and you're praying to your goddess and praying to Amriel to get your points back, etc. And you suddenly notice that your thoughts are not on praying. There seems to be more on this verse and Shehelia and banishing her as well. And you keep having to sort of like bring yourself back from that brink. And it happens several times during your watch. And several times you have to sort of like pull yourself away from the verse and concentrate more on your watch. This should be fine for you, but just roll a devotion check for me, please.
Yeah, this is pretty embarrassing.
Sacrilege.
I'm glad nobody else knows I'm going through this inner turmoil.
Ooh.
Yeah, despite this, and you pray for forgiveness to Amriel because you obviously feel quite... This is her time, and Amriel does give you points to go into your devotion pool if you need them. But she also, you also get this feeling that you seem to be being drawn away from Amriel and more to Shehelia and the verse, etc. And Amriel gives you this feeling of almost like being strong and being resistant to it. And you get to the end of your watch. I'm presuming you don't want to work anymore on the verse.
No, not during my watch. I owe that to my friends.
Yeah. Okay. So Cyrus is up next. So you can go and get Cyrus up, and Bartleby, you settle down to sleep, but I would like you to roll a willpower check, please.
Jeez.
Inner strength.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would like to use a point of luck. One last point of luck. Well, I have one remaining after this, but my second point of luck I want to spend on reversing.
Yeah, and you do get this feeling that you were on the brink of probably spending the whole of Cyrus's watch actually focusing on the verse. And it's definitely got some kind of hold over you, and it's constantly luring you back to it. And you suddenly start to think that this might be how Shehelia lures her acolytes to her, actually using some kind of magic to lure them into. And anybody with a low willpower would probably find themselves studying this verse for maybe even an eternity, not eating or drinking or anything like that. At the moment, you manage to put it away and to one side. You've got some indication, but you really start to think, is this something that you should go back to at one point, or whether or not you should leave it?
Cyrus sees him stirring up and keep going up back and forth, just like, what if? He's like, go to bed, nerd.
I had so many criticals.
You were so close to cracking it. So close.
I mean, I only did 10 points of whatever, but
Yeah.
You were very close.
It's not a very intelligent riddle, duh.
Cyrus, can you roll for me a perception check? It's at hard because you're in darkness for this one.
I have the flame. Perception of yikesies.
Ooh, so close.
Not really.
You want to leave it or look it? You guys are burning through your luck at the moment.
I'll leave it.
We haven't even got to the big combat yet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you your watch appears to go uneventful, but you do hear at one point what appears to be some kind of animal circling round the camp. You never actually see it, but you do hear it. It seems to be almost like sniffling and sniffing the air and sniffing the ground. And it seems to come every time you hear it, it seems to be in a different position. Now, succeeding in the perception roll would have allowed you to have a guess of what it is. All you know now is that it's some kind of animal. It seems to be land-based, but that's it. Is there anything you would like to do before you pass it over to Hazra?
No, I'll just give Hazra the heads up that we're being stalked.
Okay. So, Hazra, you start your watch. Cyrus, you'll get your magic points back. And Rohan, you'll get yours back if you've done anything. Yeah, Hazra, you are alerted to this sniffling, this sound.
Sniffer.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're up. Is there anything that you would like to actively do during your watch?
I want to try to focus out the noise of the fire, which I'm hoping is dying down now anyway.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's probably really
to...
embers at the moment, so there's probably limited noise from it.
And just literally just try to listen for this sniffing noise.
Okay then.
While watching.
So roll your perception. Remember, it's a hard perception check. But of course, that is perfect for Hazra. He has eyes of a hawk. Okay, so you do actually see the beast. It's not light enough to see it fully. You seem to see a shape of it. And you see it seems to only be around when it's dark. As soon as the sun starts to rise and you can see round the camp, you don't see it anymore. It seems almost to you like dog-like rather than wolf-like. But one thing you do notice is that it's very broad, it's very stocky, and it's very big.
Like a badger.
No, yeah, but bigger.
But bigger.
You probably think when you see it, even at a distance, you probably think the top of its back will come up to your waist. And it is very heavy set. And you actually managed to locate it in the darkness. And it does have those telltale red glowing eyes. But it's definitely sniffing. It's definitely following something or someone. Do you have any animal law or anything like that?
Just law nature.
Okay, roll that. It'll be we'll roll it as a hard. But yeah, you think it's definitely not natural.
Right.
It's definitely some kind of a beast. And you definitely have the feeling that it's almost like following the party, tracking it, but not necessarily hunting the party, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and once light starts to arrive, then that's it. You know, you don't see it at all. And you don't see it going off in a distance or anything like that. It's just gone. And then that's it. Okay, so you can have cold rabbit. Sorry, Hazra, is there anything else you would like to do before you finish your watch?
No, that's fine. It's just that when Bartleby wakes up, I'll tell him what I've seen. Well, in fact, I'll tell everybody what I saw.
Yeah. And Bartleby, I think that's to see if you can roll your
monsters.
Yeah. If you wish. He does wish. Yeah, it's a tracking goblin. No. This is a rumor, Bartleby, okay, and you've seen pictures of this, but there's no proof. There's no evidence that it actually exists. But it is rumored that almost like acolytes of evil gods can actually summon a beast to follow and track their quarry. They can actually decide what it is and where to track it to. And this beast is purely magical, of creation. It probably comes more into Cyrus's regime of magic, more sorcery rather than divinity or clerical spells. But it is known that it can be summoned, and its main purpose is not to kill. It's almost like to track and report back.
A spy in the midst.
The thing you're telling me here that's most important is through my goddess, Amriel, we can just dismiss this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I'm more powerful than those acolytes or those sorcerers.
Unless Hela herself has summoned it.
Well,
Well, actually, you're probably more powerful than her.
No, I'm just Bartleby. It's through my goddess that I'm able to work these miracles. So,
yeah,
this is kind of better than a simple harpy queen.
So you eat and you set back towards Winvine. Just to let you know, every night, Bartleby, unless you want to start looking at the verse again, if you do, then we'll go through to see whether or not you can pry yourself away from it. You can do that again. If you fail, then you will actually not be able to replenish your devotion pool, or you will be awake all night, so you'll have a fatigue level the next day. But you can do it if you wish. Apart from that...
Like how many days for the travel?
Yeah, well, we can do it probably twice more if you wish.
I think since we're only a few days away, I want to give like one day, the day right after that event, of just no thinking about it, keeping it from my mind. Praise Amriel, praise willpower.
Okay, then.
And then the next day, or the day before we're about to arrive, I'll give it a go.
If you can, yeah. So let's have a look then. So let's do the first day. So your conflict pool is refreshed. Hazra, just so you know, and Cyrus and Rohan, on your watches, you do hear this beast again. Hazra, you will actually see it. It needs the key eyes of a hunter to see it, but it's definitely tracking you. You definitely haven't lost it. If you wish to try and attempt to lose it, then you can by using an appropriate roll. So have a think about that. Okay, Mr. Bartleby, let's roll our first skill roll.
Here is my pow.
Yeah, so you beat me, so I'll take 1d6.
Ooh.
Yeah, take another one.
Thank you.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, let's roll again for the next twice for this hour.
Just chipping away.
I get a 50. Ooh, you fail.
Dirty.
And
Okay,
you take 3 points of damage.
It's my conflict pool.
Yeah, to your conflict. Okay, so this is the next hour. So we've done 2 for that first hour. This is the next hour. Okay, so you actually fumble now. So that allows me to do one thing. So this is the point. You lose 5 points from your conflict pool. Now you have to make a willpower check, but your willpower is now formidable, your check.
Ooh, dog. If anybody wants to throw some bits right now.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you what I'll
I
do.
have 1 luck point left. I think.
Do it.
I was going to chuck you my free one that I had.
Yeah, there's still the free one if you want to use
a free
it.
one.
Yeah,
I'll take it if you're throwing it. That
Yeah,
8 will
use
bring
it.
me to a formidable.
Yeah.
Okay then, so that will actually allow you to succeed
Not die.
in that formidable check. So you managed to, at the end of that session, you managed to draw away from it once more. Because you're fumbled, I'm going to say that that's the end of that session. Yeah. So we've got one more lot to do. So roll your D100 again and see whether or not I can mesmerize you. I get 47.
You can do it. No, you can't do it.
It's getting progressively worse here.
You know,
You can
have
also
a
like
lot-
talk to us about it. Maybe
Oh no! I'm
take-
at one point left in my conflict pool.
So, and we got another roll now.
what could I like say? Hey, you seem to be really flustered about this.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
As someone who's extremely smart,
So
why you bounce some ideas off me? Maybe I can help you out here.
and when you try to sort of like contribute it, Bartleby's extremely possessive over it.
Irritable.
Yeah, he sort of like says, "This is mine. You cannot contribute to this. This is mine. It's between me and the goddess." And he's very much an idea that he's doing this. Of course, if you wish, you can roll your own conflict pool towards it, but that will require separate rolls. So let's do the next one for this Bartleby first.
This is it.
It's the final count.
So I'm up at 72. You do succeed, but I win because I get the 72, and so you will take another D6 to your conflict.
No matter
roll.
what, you win here.
Yeah.
That'd bring me to a -1.
Okay then. So at that point, you now cannot interact with it at all. Okay.
Because I've hit a dead end and I'm getting really angry.
Yeah, and this is now put to one side until later on, until you're clean your mind. The other thing that we didn't do, by the way, is that when you get down to half, remember that it goes up to a hard skill, but that's all right. I'll take that fumble instead, which suits me down to the earth. Okay.
At this point, though, Bartleby would just be like, "Cyrus, you made me lose it. Why did you interrupt me?"
Go back to sleep.
I'm just gonna go back over here.
You're just moving away from him.
That's
I think we need to go to
freaking
this.
nerds on the
Interrupting
riddles.
me.
Okay, so Hazra, is there anything that you wanted to do on the way back at all?
Yes, I was going to try to use my survival to disguise our tracks as we go.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But the problem is it seems to be tracking by smell.
Yeah, but so if you use go for it. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, could I just maybe use my survival skill to get the guts of one of these rabbits we've had and just traipse it all over the place to hopefully throw the scent off?
Or maybe Brutus's poo, or some smelly weed that you can do. So okay then, so you need to do an opposed roll against my tracking skill. So you're using your survival to oppose my tracking skill. So just roll your survival skill, and I'll roll my dice. Get 72. Yeah, okay then. So that beats my 72 quite nicely. Well done. And you actually managed to put the beast off your scent altogether. And what you notice the night before you arrive at Winvine, nobody sees it or anything like that. There is something just before you arrive at Winvine. You do notice, all of you, apart from you, Bartleby, that Bartleby started to mutter in his sleep. And he sort of like seems to be uttering the words of the verse. He never utters it all. He seems to utter various clips or snippets of it. And he seems to not be sleeping as well as he should. He's not getting fatigue yet, but this is something new. Bartleby's never done it before, and any words that come out of his mouth while he's sleeping is to do with that verse. Those are the snippets. Would anybody like to do anything before you arrive at Winvine?
I'd like to tell Bartleby what he's doing through the night.
Yeah, go for it.
Bartleby, my friend, did you sleep well last night?
I always sleep well. Through Amriel, I'm able to just glide through sleep. Her blessings give me so much rest.
It's just that last night you kept me awake a little bit with your muttering over and over again. You were muttering and muttering and talking and just repeating that the verse that you were studying.
Yeah,
while you were asleep.
The phrase, Hazra, that he keeps repeating is, "Within her hand the blade will slide."
You kept on saying, "Within her hand the blade will slide."
Okay,
and it's like
Hazra.
again and again and again. And frankly, Bartleby, I love you, but I need my sleep.
I mean,
Sir.
This just sounds like a bad nightmare you were having. Like the rest of us, you guys, you weren't having issues.
Bartleby, are you sound like withdrawals right now? Like, is it because you just like haven't been able to like make a very long, boring speech to a whole bunch of strangers that you're just kind of feeling bored and unimportant? I'm just trying to understand what's going on with you here, bud.
Nothing's going on with me. I mean, I'm okay. Maybe I've been reciting prayers in my sleep, and
which I think you've done before, anyways, because
yeah,
weirdness and whatnot. But you seem more weird than usual, and significantly more annoying than usual.
Cyrus, is this because I yelled at you when you interrupted me?
No, I don't care about that. I actually forgot about that.
I haven't.
Yeah, I just mostly I assumed you were ill or something. But I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. You're really focusing on this brain teaser that we got from that old wench, and
she's not a wench. How dare you?
I'm just like, Cyrus, she gave us the key, the puzzle to solve this whole situation. Do you know what she could have done? Down and killing everybody?
No, she gave us a brain teaser without giving us the answer. She just gave us the answer in the first place, so we'd be good to go. But
first off, I am so close to the answer that it's almost making me want to vomit right now. But we need more clues to go along with it. There's no actual solution there. We need to find the saltwater man, and he's probably going to be the one who will actually give us some answers that'll make it work. I can't solve it.
Okay. Calm down, Bartleby. Calm down. It's easy. You just have to stab her in the hand with the blade. It says, "Within her hand, the blade will slide." So just slide it in her hand.
I know this, Hazra. I know that it's in the hand, but it might be going through her hand rather than being in her hand.
No, that's what I mean. Slide it through a sinew.
The issue here, Hazra, we might need somebody else. We might not be able to even do anything if it has to be in her hand.
Bartleby, my friend, I will make you a nice, soothing herbal tea. To maybe relax you.
I don't need to calm down.
No,
we need answers and solve this.
Bartleby.
Everybody is going to die if we don't solve this.
How about I stab him in the hand?
I've never.
Bartleby, if you don't calm down, I'll get Rohan to
Bartleby, right now you sound like you need to start drinking. That's you sound like you need to figure out another thing to occupy your mind. I
can't believe you're all taking this so flippantly. Do you not understand that if we don't solve this, the Harpies will come to every place, to Lindo. Chehalia could take over the world.
We'll eventually win. We'll eventually beat the big bad guy. It's what we do. It's, you know, this is like what, our 6th or 7th end of the world scenario. We're good. We got this.
I think it's your first, actually. I don't think you've done 67. I really don't.
According to Cyrus, every day he's saving the world.
Yes, one drink at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as you approach Winvine, it's probably getting to dusk time, and so Hazra, you notice something before the others with your keen perception, and you notice that there appears to be some black birds circling near to the entrance of Winvine. As you get closer, you're able to recognize them, that they seem to be large crows or ravens. You also notice that sometimes they are going down to land and actually land and then take off again. And they seem to be circling something that is in the middle of the path. It's outside Winvine.
Right.
It's not in Winvine. It's outside, say, 100, 150 meters out. You can, it depends what you would like to do.
Well, everybody, see the crows, the carrion. There's something on the floor over there. Let's go have a look. Or would you like me to go have a look stealthily?
I want to immediately cast spell.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Oh yeah, witch sight. Nice. Yeah, you will actually take no folk magic because you can cast it at easy, which would be a critical, so you don't need to lose any points at all. You cast your sight forward, and you don't see any magic at all. The crows or the ravens don't seem to be magical, and what appears in the middle of the road is not magical either.
I let everybody know that it doesn't seem that these are servants to Chehalia. Oh, that's a hard one.
Chehalia.
To Chehalia.
Chehalia, yeah. Do you wish to...
Cha-cha-chia.
Are you going on ahead?
I'm going to go ahead. Bring Brutus, but slowly. I will go have a look.
Okay.
Which of us is driving Brutus?
He'll just
follow Hazra.
Hazra always had that little carrot in his pocket.
Yeah, that's not a carrot.
So I was slow on that one. I was slow. Okay, so Hazra, as you sort of like set off, and obviously the ox and Brutus are a little bit slower, although he is moving in your general direction. You get closer and closer to what's in the road, and it's not actually one thing. It seems to be a pile of things, and it appears to be a pile of bodies or something. At this distance you cannot see, but you notice that the ravens, the carrions, are feeding off them. You're going to have to get a little bit close to them if you want to inspect what they actually are.
Well, I want the birds to go as well, so I'm going to brandish my spear as I go forward, and I'm going to make a bit of a I'm going to try and chase them off.
So they sort of like fly up away from it, but they keep up their vigilance and high up in the sky, way beyond what you can see, and what appears to be in the road seems to be a number of cattle that seems to have been brutalized. It looks like they have been almost like half eaten and almost like cast aside. But what you do notice is this is not the place that the attack was made. You can see that there's wagon marks and trails of dripping blood leading back to Winvine. And they've obviously come from Winvine out to here. You don't think the crows have done it. You know, they just seem to be feeding off the...
So what have the people of Winvine done? It's like they've just dumped them there to attract something.
Or to remove them from Winvine.
Yes. There's something strange here. Actually, I'm going back to the group. There's something strange. It's the dismembered cattle all piled up in the road, and they seem to have come from Winvine. So,
don't they know they're supposed to keep their cattle alive before until they want to eat them?
Did we tell them to stop putting food out?
Yes, yes, we did.
That was like weeks ago.
But they were doing banquets in the middle. This is different. It's almost like these things were killed inside the city, and they've brought them out of the city and just dumped them on the road.
If we told them to stop feeding the Harpies might have done this as punishment or revenge.
Well, your wilderness law bit that you have. Do you have that? Nature law, I think.
I do, nature law, yeah.
Yeah, you figured these are days old. It's not something that's happened recently, a few days ago, up to 5 days ago. And so probably the time that you were just finishing at Matilda's and starting to travel back, you think they've been on the road that length of time. You notice that a lot of the blood has soaked into the ground.
Just out of interest, when I looked at the cattle bodies, could I see anything that looked like talon marks on them?
There was no talon marks, so to speak, but what you did notice that it looks like they've been ravaged. You know, where, say for example, where the throat was, the cow was, it's not. It looks as if something's bitten into it, and actually pulled it out. You know, and same around the stomach area. It looks like it's been huge bite marks that have pulled things out. It hasn't been a clean cut or anything like that. They literally looked as if they've been ravaged. And I think that'll be a good time to stop and have our break, so you can have a think about what you would like to do next. So thank you to everybody who's in the chat at the moment. Please remember that I can't redeem channel points when I'm GMing, because it does look really peculiar if I'm dabbing left, right, and centre for it. But do come back when they are in action, and I'll happily do it for them. Yeah, we're going to take a 15-minute break now, so we're going to be back 1:45. So no matter where you are, come back to see that, and we'll see what happened to the party, what has happened to these beasts, and what's been happening to Winvine while their protectors were away somewhere else. We will see you all back here in 15 minutes. See you soon.
And find them on a map. Reliably when you're 10 years old.
So hang a minute. So states have capitals.
Yeah.
States have capitals, yes.
Yeah. We have to memorize those.
What?
They do that. They do that for more things than
It's
just
Dallas.
like us having states.
Is Dallas
Like-
the capital of Texas?
Capital
No.
of Texas.
It's Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. that's it.
Austin, yeah.
Required to
I was gonna
learn.
say
Some of
Houston,
us
but I was like,
didn't.
no, that's wrong.
It's such
I'm
a
actually
big
pretty good at
place.
geography. I actually memorize a lot of that shit stuff.
Oh, I have no idea.
Which is why there's not many bright Americans, because they're too busy memorizing stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
We don't learn about the other history stuff. They're focusing on what Mount Kiliar belongs to.
Yeah, they don't talk about freedom of
We-
speech or
we
anything
only-
like
we
that.
only learn about the states, and then we learn about how much rights we have and how much freedoms we have. That's
No,
about
no.
it.
All you need to know is
America.
take the fifth.
Oh yeah. Do you know? I don't know if you've seen the film London Has Fallen, but
Yeah.
there's one bit that really upsets me in it. Really upsets me, and it's the bit when the 3 helicopters are flying after the explosions, are flying from London out to Stansted Airport, and they get attacked by Stinner missiles from the rooftop, and they lose all their flares, and then the lead helicopter says to the second one, please take up sacrifice mode, and that means that they have to put themselves in line of the missile and I find that really upsetting. Is the American president that important?
Yeah.
Not really, because here's how the president works. It goes, the president is first, then the vice president, and then the first lady.
Wow.
What?
Really?
I believe.
It's not. What? No,
I can't remember. It's
the
there's like
Speaker
a
of the
whole
House
line.
is third.
Yeah,
Speaker of the
Speaker
House.
of the House is third.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fourth.
Oh,
is,
and then it goes like the speaker of this and the speaker of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen,
There's like
I've
a
seen
whole
White House
list,
down.
and
Wait.
there's like
Yes.
like a speaker of everything.
You've heard
and
of
it's a
you've heard of the term the
massive
Secret
list.
Service, correct?
Yes.
They are a detachment that their entire existence is to protect either the president or other major players in politics and the government,
Right.
including previous presidents. So like if like Trump, Obama, they still have the Secret Service
Wow.
protecting them.
So
And those people are supposed to, if it comes down to like they see someone has a gun or something, they're supposed to jump in front of the gun. Yeah, they're supposed to risk their life to protect the person they're supposed to be protecting, even if it's not even the current president.
I don't we don't have, just to let you know,
Queen's Guard, I don't know.
Tiggity Tex agrees that it's the speaker that is next.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but he
and
does.
From there, it's the Senate pro tempore and all
it's
that.
the speaker. I couldn't remember because you don't go over this stuff often.
So
It's only happened where we've gone to the Speaker of the House, I believe, once.
Never.
I thought it happened once, or it was going to happen once.
That was a film.
It's never happened. We've a few times where we've gone to the vice president.
I know we've gone to the vice
specifically
president quite a few times, but then the vice president has to get a new vice president for himself. And but if the vice president dies before he gets the new vice president,
just some.
I believe there was one part in history where it went to the vice president, but then the vice president got a vice president, but then the president that was the vice president died, so it went to the next guy.
Well, just to
It's
bring
like
it,
the ultimate game of Tig.
yeah.
You're it.
Just so you know, and I'm going to
Crazy.
just so you know, I'm going to compose questions for you next time, Max, that you hear, because Diggity Tech says that Max knows his world history better than most I know, especially military and war stuff.
Oh God, yeah, I do, but
So right.
I was gonna correct you on the Stinger missiles because you said Stinner, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that's because I have a speech impediment, but thank you for bringing it up. No, I don't. I don't.
Talk to my therapist about that.
Darth said that he hopes that the people who are protecting people have good life insurance.
What's that film with
really.
Nicolas Cage and Shirley MacLaine where she's an old first lady and he's the Secret Service guy?
The Bodyguard. No,
that's
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, and Kevin Costner.
And apparently fourth is Secretary of State.
Yeah,
That's not. I don't think that's true.
I believe they're the head of state, right? Because the head.
No, Secretary of State is the top ambassador of the United States to other countries.
Can I just say, I think your country has made this up to be super confusing and just employ more people.
There's That's
you
where
should,
Secretary.
you should just stick with the Queen.
It's a crazy system because we want it
Yeah, that's
diplomatic
right.
as possible, and we don't want random people taking over.
So it's third is pro tempore of the Senate, and then Secretary of State. Sounds right.
Or democratic as
Templar?
possible.
Isn't the quote, one man, one vote, I'm the man, I've got the vote?
Well, the
No.
secretaries we don't even elect. Secretaries are appointed by the president. So that's what's like, well, that's stupid. At least we vote. Well, we vote for the Speaker of the House is they're voted for, like in this case, it's Nancy Pelosi. She's voted in by California, by a district of California. So she's at least elected into it. The secretaries aren't elected into the thing, they're appointed. So that's weird, but nonetheless, whatever.
So that would be like our people within our government. So we have a Secretary of Education who is the lead minister of education, and we have another one for trade and industry.
And your prime minister appoints them, right?
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing: we can have so we've got all these different what is it? I don't know what they're called right now.
People.
Okay, so it's like a group of people that run different groups in the country, and they basically run a bunch of
lobbyists.
I don't know. Anyways, but we can have a guy whose main focus is farming end up become the president.
Right.
That's the funny part. He's like, I don't know, like
I think your
10 down or something.
Your system just bamboozles me.
It's a crazy system.
And I can just say, welcome back, everybody, to American History.
Yeah. So, Hazra, you're stood in front of a whole load of ravaged cows at the moment. The rest of the group have come up, leading by Brutus. So you can see this mound of dead cows. That's where we're up to. So, yeah, it's up to you. Do you wish to examine them, leave them, head off to Winvine? What's going to be the next?
Seeing the fact they've been ravaged, but there's no blood spatters around here, I'm going to assume. Then
correct.
It's something. This has happened elsewhere, and they've been dumped here. So yes, let's make haste to Winvine and then see what has happened there.
Do you have a tracking skill? Yeah, roll your tracking skill.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Fire tonight.
Yeah, you are. You actually notice as you pass the cows and head towards Winvine that there is seems to be a wagon track here, and you identify it as not the same as the others because it seems to have blood imprinted into the track every now and again. So your assumption, Hazra, is that they were brought out here on a wagon and then dumped. So when you arrive back, let me just move you on to Winvine. You might have to take a bit of a jump, but we will get there. I know I don't want Winvine without woods. That's what we want. I've got one with no roofs on at all. So, okay. So, yeah, so you arrive back at Winvine, and the first thing, it's coming down into dusk in any case, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of people out on the streets at all. There are lights in houses, and you can see that the Winvine is not necessarily super bustling and full of people, but it's not as if everybody's hidden away. And you know that the Green Dragon, which are the community named the Tavern here, that is quite, you can see light coming from it. There seems to be some kind of crazy fiddler playing at some kind of jig from inside. But yeah, is the plan to head to the tavern or to do something else?
No, I'd definitely say get to the tavern, get Brutus unhooked and find out what the heck's been going on here.
Yeah. Okay then. So first thing I would like Rohan to do is, do you have a streetwise skill?
Yeah.
Roll your streetwise skill.
I finally get to roll it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope you succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. So as you're walking through Winvine, you pick up that you've got a tail. There is somebody, well, probably two people who are shadowing the party. And you notice this. Bartleby, I know you have Streetwise, but you're too busy thinking about poems and ballads. So, yeah, you do notice they don't seem to be threatening. They just seem to be watching and walking with you to see where you're going. Is there anything that Rowan would like to do or say to the party?
I'm going to grab Bartleby, or well, kind of like just grab him by like a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, split off here and watch your backs. And then I'm gonna lead Bartleby in a different direction to the party.
Okay. So the party hears that, and so if everybody, we'll say at this junction, this can happen if that's what is that your plan to separate at that crossroads. Okay, so Bartleby and Rohan, you go off to one side. Hazra and Cyrus, you can actually go into the bar, into the Green Dragon. And what's going to be your... Yeah, sorry, if you want to do something else, Hazra, sorry.
I don't mind going in, but I intend to come straight back out of a different door if possible.
Yeah. And so...
If somebody's following us and Bartleby and Rohan are alone out there now.
Yeah, so you can probably go in and then go out the kitchen door and probably come up there. Cyrus, you go in. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna keep Hazra company because if I feel like if he goes off by himself and all of a sudden,
yeah, he can't handle himself. Hazra, he's quite. So you sort of like separate off. Obviously, Hazra and Cyrus, you need to make your way through the tavern and come out the other side. But before that happens, Rohan, you've taken Bartleby to one side. Is there anything you would like to say or do at that point?
I'm gonna wait around so the map is how the map is, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to wait around this building, just around the corner.
Yeah. Are you going to communicate anything to Bartleby at this point? Because Bartleby hasn't seen anything. He knows that they're going to be.
Bartleby has the look of. So, is there a confession?
Just hide and wait.
I'll go around the building as well and hide further behind wherever Rohan is.
Yeah. Okay. So we're probably something like this.
Something like that.
Yeah. And you notice these two shady characters sort of like come round. They have a look round the corner first and see that you're not in sight, and they start to progress down this way. Probably it looks like they're probably going to check out the tavern, and you do notice at sort of like this point, one of them takes up, looks over into the tavern through an open window. At that point, Cyrus and Hazra, you appear at the top, so you didn't see them looking in. You do think, Bartleby and Rohan, you do think that they're in their late teens. They look quite young. They seem to look as if they can handle themselves, but they're not an expert, Rohan. If they are some kind of roguish character, they're not very good at what they're doing, but they're sort of like at the window now, checking out the the inside of the tavern. Cyrus and Hazra, you come up at the top, and of course you can look down and see that the corridor, the pathway is empty. You do know that Bartleby and Rohan went at this point, so they click.
In which case we'll move over this way.
Yeah, and do you want to check down here, or just
Yeah, no, check down there.
Yeah, so as you check down there, you can see that Bartleby and Rohan are at the other end. Okay, and Bartleby and Rohan, so Hazra and Cyrus, you're doing that as they start peering through. You don't think they will have seen you leave, but Rohan and Bartleby, you have an opportunity to do something if you wish now.
That's on Rohan, because I'm just kind of waiting.
What would you like to do?
Hazra.
I'm waving at Hazra.
Yeah, he peeked around. I probably looked down that way, and it was.
No, Bartleby.
So yeah, Rohan, you can see these two late teenagers peering through the window. What would you like to do? You can say nothing.
I'm thinking. Sorry.
Like a blessing.
Can I pick up like a rock off the ground, like a small stone?
Yeah, you're strong enough to do that.
And not like let's say like a rock like this big.
Yeah, what do you wish to do with it? What's the plan?
I'd like to throw it at them.
Okay.
And then hide back around the corner.
Okay then. So you need to roll for me an unarmed combat roll.
Unarmed. Dang. All right. This is absolutely terrible. Can I use my 1 luck point?
Yeah.
To reverse that?
Yeah. Okay, so you throw it, and you throw it, and then you duck behind out the way, and you hear it hit something solid. Definitely not a person, but a wall or something like that. And yeah, now you're back round out the way. Cyrus and Hazra, do you have your memory rolls sorted out? It should be 5 times your intelligence.
I'll put her passion maybe. I'll just roll. My intelligence is 12, so yeah, it's my 5 times my intelligence is 60. So
okay, yeah, so just roll D100.
Well, mine's wrong then in that case, because mine should be 60.
Well, you succeeded in any case. That's yeah. Okay, so
I've got intelligence roll.
I'm smart.
And power.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, idea is
5 times your intelligence.
Yeah.
So there's something that as you went through the tavern, now that you're out the side, you only went through really quickly, but you do remember seeing the Bartleby's acolytes in there.
Nailed to a wall.
No. Sat down at a table and with 2 very nice females.
In this village?
Yeah.
Good for them.
They found the only 2.
Yeah, they found.
I thought this is a bit of a rugged village, and I mean, they're just sharing the love of Amriel. You got to give it to them.
So
they're going to.
You capture that. Rohan, you throw the rocket, hits, but you duck back out the way. Well, what's everybody's? Cyrus and Hazra, you can move now if you wish. It's up to you what you do.
See, I wanted to go behind him and say, "It's busy in there tonight, isn't it?"
Oh yeah.
What are we doing here? Where are they? Are they still following us?
They were just at the back of the bar, looking through the window.
No,
right.
should we go and see what they want? I don't think they just stay out here all night.
No, we can do is because they're looking this direction, or like they're looking that direction, right?
Well, they were.
Towards the bar.
Mm.
So we can go around and then on both sides surround them from escape. So me and Hazra pop off this direction and then over here, and you and Bartleby and Max or Rohan this way.
You, Bartleby, who's the you? Is that me? Was I included in that plan?
Bartleby and
You're coming with
Rohan.
us, Inwils.
Come with us if you want to live.
Okay then. So you come up with this really genius plan to sort of like appear at both sides. So almost like two of you coming in this way, and two of you coming in this way. However, Rohan and Bartleby, you'll see it first because you count or decide to count a certain amount. But when you come round the corner to look, you can't. There's nobody there.
Oh.
We're talking for a while. They probably.
And then Hazra and Cyrus, you come up. Cyrus and Hazra just make. No, you don't see anything coming up from this path. Okay, so wherever they are now, you don't have eyes on them at all.
I'm going to look through the window.
Yeah, so
as they come back round to either side of us.
Yeah, so you have a look through the window. You can't see. You're not too sure what these two people even look like at the moment, but you do see Bartleby's acolyte, and one of them has just stood up and announced that he will be buying drinks for everybody in the tavern.
Got him so well.
In the tavern.
Yeah, and he seems to be somewhat in what's the word, drunk. Yeah, he's swaying around. You notice that the robes are undone. They look quite disheveled, and one of the two beautiful girls in Winvine, because of course even two, and one of them is just pretty, probably a 2 out of 10. And is the other acolyte is sat down with this girl on his lap, and the girl is sort of like stroking his head, and he looks like he's enjoying it as well. That's what you see, Hazard.
Yeah. I'm going to look at Bartleby and I'm going to just shake my head.
Disapprovingly.
Yes.
Bartleby doesn't know you're part of a cool crowd.
I want to walk up to him because that's a disapproving look. I want to walk up to Hazra and get an explanation.
Yeah, just Bartleby, have a look at your.
They seem to be obsessing over the Ron Moon.
Yeah, so you look inside, Bartleby, and you see your acolytes having a really enjoyable time.
We're going to get killed all lined up against this wall looking at this.
Yeah, you look super. Yeah, I could probably throw a spear for one end and just kebab you all. They seem to be quite merry, Bartleby. They seem to be enjoying themselves. They also appear to be throwing some silver around as well.
What's their silver, right?
But you do know that some silver was brought with you to help you set up well, you maybe not know that, but your acolytes did have that silver to set up.
They're investing in local businesses.
Yeah. Oh, Bartleby's just so positive. So positive. So are we going into the tavern, folks?
I am.
Yeah, I guess we are all going into the tavern.
Okay then, so you all sort of like head off in there. Bartleby, I'm assuming you're going to go and
address the situation.
Yeah. What's the other three of you want to do? you've got this incident with the cows still to try to track down to see what's happened. You also have this idea that you want to get to the death pincher sand dune or sandbank as well. You don't actually have a boat, so if you are going out there by boat, it might be possible to try to see whether or not you've got a sailor or someone who can take you. There's also whether or not you want to find out more information about the story behind Death Pincer. So what's going to be, you can all go together, you can do it separately, it's completely up to you.
I think that, in fact, I'll speak to Cyrus and say, Cyrus, wasn't there the bard in here who told us to go find the Matilda? Maybe we could ask him about the giant crab pincer thing.
Zach.
Yeah, he's probably gonna know something.
Yes, he might. Yeah,
he's a fan of knowing about weird things and weird people. So yeah, sure. The biggest thing is we also probably need to go down to the dock to see if we could find a sailor of some sort, right?
But it's getting late now, isn't it? So maybe we should just think about asking this bard. And
we see him, right?
Yeah, if you want to. I'm not going to roll for anything like that. You can see him, so you can go and have a chat with him if you wish.
And maybe Rowan, you can ask about the cows.
Yeah.
And what happened?
You like cows, right?
I like cow friend.
Cow.
So Rohan, who do you want to ask about the cows? That's the first thing, and then if you do, you could either talk to locals, or you could talk to a barmaid, or you can talk to the owner of the tavern. Those are the three sort of like people. So, do you wish to inquire about the cows? That's the first decision.
No, I'm not going to inquire about the cows. That's not my job.
Okay. So what would you like to do in the tavern when everybody else is, or do you want to go with someone?
I'm gonna chat up the barkeeper.
Okay. And to what end?
I'm gonna talk to him and ask about like the people that come and go through the bar and such. See if I can figure out if he knows any, let's say, sailors or fishermen that come in and out.
Okay. That's absolutely fine. So let's start with you, Bartleby. You're going across.
I want to approach my minions, the initiates that I brought with me.
Yeah. And their names being?
Sam and Decker, obviously.
Okay.
And I'm going to approach them with a very like open, warm stance, like arms out, and I'll say, "It's good to see that you are still alive and holding down the fort."
Yeah, and they react quite in a shocked manner about this. One of them, the one that had the woman on his lap, he actually stands up so fast that the woman falls to the floor, and sort of like unceremoniously sort of like just dumps, and he sort of like tries to adjust his attire to look more theist like. The other one is coming back from the bar with 4 huge tankards of alcohol, either beer or ale, and he sort of like sees you there and sort of like looks at these and sort of like puts them down on the table, and he turns around to you and says, "It was Decker's idea."
Decker's idea to engage in merriment, connect with the locals, do the job that I asked you guys to do?
To spend all the money.
Oh, he didn't spend all the money, did you?
He did. Decker, why do you spend all the money? Decker sort of goes, well, we did it together, Master Bartleby. We did it together.
And then you
Forever.
dropped a woman on the floor. Makes me think of.
Oh no, she's not a woman. She's not a woman. She's something that's known as a prostitute, Bartleby.
You have some interesting followers here.
Well,
sound worse than
it's
me.
She
good that
promised.
you have connected with the locals here and have invested in the community. But we're.
She
going
promised
on
to show me. She promised to show me the way of the world.
Yes, I'm sure that she did.
I haven't learnt it yet.
But you will eventually, not in that way. But we are going to be needing to assemble in the morning to do some very churchly duties.
Churchly, what will that be?
We're going to need to get you started before I leave again on building up the Church of Amriel in this town.
Decker says, can we sort of like delay it till after midday?
No.
Because I'm not
Amriel
very.
will give you your strength, and you'll be able to rise to the occasion. I believe in you both.
Sam says, you'll have to give me more than strength, I tell you. And they sort of like try to adjust themselves and look priestly. And they sort of like look at you and say, so we'll go to our room then.
I mean, if you have a connection with Amriel to keep you up all night, by all means, do what you must.
Oh yeah, we must seek sleep and
Probably
countenance
so,
of Amriel.
Before you go, though, Sam,
Decker.
I'm just talking to Sam here mostly.
All
I'm
right.
ignoring Decker for a moment. Sam, what happened here with all the cows out front?
Oh, he sort of like thinks for a while as if his brain's a little bit foggy. And he says, that there was like a beast attacked the town throughout the night. Took out a couple.
Did it have wings flying around?
No.
Goblin coming up through the dirt.
No, it was like a big dog. And it was sniffing around a lot, and then it sort of like attacked like a pen of cows, and we all woke up the next morning and they were just sort of like butchered. He actually points to this area here.
Okay.
Where you can see the remnants of what would have been a pen. Round where they would be.
Okay, that's very good to know. I appreciate your knowledge here, Sam and Decker.
Somebody said that she sent it.
Yes, that is what I was worried about. But you two go get some sleep, and I will talk to you in the morning.
Decker says to you, Bartleby, can you summon something like that? Will we get that power when we are initiates and acolytes and priests?
Well, eventually you will reach that level once you have given yourself over to Amriel, and through her you will be able to dismiss anything that should not be in this world.
They say, yeah, that beast was flipping cool.
Decker.
That was Sam, by the way.
God darn it, Samantha.
And yeah, so
with that, I'll dismiss them, and I'll turn my back so that they can do whatever they want with the beers. I'm heading back to the party. Whoever's
they've left the beers, and the ladies are enjoying them.
I'll take 2 of them and leave two beers for the ladies.
Okay, that's very kind. And Hazra and Cyrus, you'll talk. You find Zach, who seems to be smoking a pipe and drinking ale at the fireside in the Green Dragon Inn. What would you like to
do? We'll sit down next to him. Papa squat. Hey what? Zach, how you?
A what, sorry?
Squat. Papa squat. It's where you get low.
Like 90s slang.
It's what slang?
pop a squat, like we're squatting down, we're popping it.
But usually sitting normally in a chair.
Yeah.
See, that might mean something completely different over here.
Yeah.
No,
just squat and pop.
That I think what you're thinking is pop it while they're squatting.
I didn't realize that Netflix and chill had a certain connotations. If you say that you're watching Netflix and chilling.
No, it's watching Netflix in the AC room. It's different here.
Right. Tex says common slang in the US, pop a squat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you sort of like sitting down or are you squatting down?
I'll sit down. I won't.
Then.
I'm not going to ruin my beautiful knees.
So Hazard.
I'm glad we did 5 minutes just to figure this one out. Continue, sorry.
So Hazard and Cyrus, you sit down next to Zach. What would you like to do?
So we met your lady friend. She's pretty exciting. Very eccentric and terrible on the eyes, but nonetheless, I think we learned some new stuff, right? Hazra?
We did indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we have a few more questions, buddy. First, did you eat her fish stew? Because I'm still obsessing over it. Just deliciously.
Sorry, Zach sounds like Sam and Decker. Let me. Zach sort of like says, when we were together, we were fond of each other. I used to like her fish stew.
Cool.
What?
Nothing.
What?
It's the way you said it. Sorry.
Yeah, just the sudden, just cool.
I liked her fish stew.
I feel that I've said something and I'm
Plus
not.
whatever she made for dinner too.
No.
What?
You like her fish stew?
The chat will save me. They will tell me whether or not I need to know more or not.
No, we're just having fun.
Yes, so that's what Zach says.
She told us of I don't remember the name of the man. Maybe we do, Hazra.
Yeah.
Tell me about this man. Do you know anything about him?
I know that he's a wizard in blue garb.
Yeah.
Sorcerer in blue
Barton
garb.
Saltwater.
Yeah, that was the man. He seems to be somewhat puzzled about when you mention that name. But when you actually mention the name of the ship, which was
the
wreck.
The wreck.
Nope.
No. It's Santa Maria.
That's the one thing I didn't write.
I didn't write that either. Yes, I did that too.
Yeah. Can I roll an insight on that one?
Yeah, well, roll your insight.
And hopefully I learn from this insight that I need to start writing things down.
Writing the right things down.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate to have my actual out of game situation.
Do you wish to use a point of luck?
Sure, I'll switch it up. Use my second.
The ship was called the Sorcerer's Favor.
I was right on one word.
What, the?
I said sorcerer. I didn't have anything to go with it.
Yes, the Sorcerer's Favor, it was called. Okay, so once you mention the ship, Zach seems to know more about the ship than actual Barton Saltwater.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of like tells you that it was a ship that was sailing across the seas, finding new areas, creating new maps, seeking places out. But unfortunately, it left Winvine when a storm was approaching, and it didn't get far out before it was shipwrecked. There are stories that the water raised itself up around the boat, and there's even talk that the storm was not natural; it was summoned. And a lot of what Zach tells you, he sort of like says that there's two camps about the sailor, Barton Saltwater. one group of people say that, you know, he was really good scholar and, you know, his job was really well done. But the other group of people almost say that he was dabbling too deeply into sorcerer magic. And there was even a case, some people used to say that he was actually trying to summon creatures from another realm. And it's these people that sort of like say, you know, it wasn't a natural storm. It served himself right that he was doing it because he was dabbling in things. There seems to be no, the second part of the story, there's no deviation from it. It seems totally true that the ship was wrecked on a sandbank. The interesting thing is that nothing was known about that sandbank beforehand. And that sort of like adds to the conspiracy theory that something rose up. Zach does say that there is great evil that lives on that sandbank. And many, it's rumored to be a creature called Death Pincer. And many people have ventured out there, but nobody has returned. Or if they have returned, their boat has been badly damaged or they've been badly damaged. And they do talk about Death Pincer as being a very large creature that lives in the sand. There's stories about not knowing what was going to happen before they were actually on the beast. And as the beast came up through the sand, they were pushed off, which allowed them to be easy pickings for Death Pincer. There is truth in the rumor that there are various chests in that area that actually hold not money, but more knowledge and maps and, you know, hidden treasure maps and things like that. There's very little of the wreck that remains. However, there are rumored to be a number of small coffers and chests that will have withstood the test of time. And people say that, you know, if they've been passing close, they can see these. And they do wonder whether or not they're protected by some kind of magic. Nobody will, Zach says that trying to find a sailor to take you there would be very difficult because very few people will go there just in case they lose their boat. But they said that there was a girl, a woman sailor, who is called Molly Squaresail. And if anybody was going to be brave enough to take you out there, she would. He does say at the end of the talk, however, that to be very careful and very wary of Molly Squaresail, because sometimes she has other motives, or her own, she's following her own agenda. Is there anything else, Cyrus and Hazra, you would like to ask of Zach?
Now, for this quote-unquote giant crab, should we just bring like a giant saucer of melted butter to attack it? Something to drown it with? No one. Okay.
Hang on. Let me just see if Zach understands what you're talking about. No, he doesn't.
No, okay.
He just goes to...
He doesn't get it.
No.
Anyways, all right, well, I guess we have a lead. Do you know roughly how far this what's it called? We call it a sand bankment?
Yeah. It's if there's a favorable wind, so something that's going to blow you out there, then it's probably half a day sailing. If it's not a wind behind you, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But Zach sort of like eyes both of you up and then looks at you, Hazra, and says, You will be a good sailor, boy. You'll be able to pull an oar. And he looks at you, Cyrus, and says, maybe not you.
It's okay. I'm more of a guy who sits. All right.
So you can sit down and finish off your drinks with him. And so this is all going off. So Cyrus, you look over and see Bartleby talking to his acolytes that look very worried and disheveled. And yeah, Rohan, I think you were going across to the barkeeper.
Yeah, we'll chat up the barkeeper.
Yeah, what would you like to ask him?
So, you get a lot of customers around here?
He sort of like, he's just going to sound like Basil. Can I just say, I can't think of 3 different voices. It'll just be Basil again. And he says, well, we have loads of people here. They come from around, but mainly townsfolk.
A lot of regulars, I guess?
Apart from you 4, we haven't seen, and, well, those acolytes and Harpies, but they never come in. You're the first 4 people that we've really had in here for some time.
Do sailors stop by every?
Only the trade people. They trade up from Lindo and sail back, but they never stay for long. They're too busy with profit, I tell you. That's all they're bothered about. Right, sail here, drop things off, pick things up, and head back to Lindo.
That is the way they're making a living.
That certainly is.
Do any fishermen come around to get drinks here?
Yeah, of course, where many of the townsfolk are fisher people. Don't want to say fishermen. I'm trying to be more PC about things.
That's good in Winvine.
I feel like it's still a general term to say fisherman, but I guess
fishing person. I think I would.
Fishing person. I don't.
Fish smelling denizens.
Angler.
What? Sorry.
Angler.
And that would be a better one.
That's actually a great one. That's
a good one.
That's a broad term. That's a better term than trying to say fisher person.
So he says there's the Winvine is probably based, some of it is based on marine resources. So yeah, there's bound to be fishermen around.
Or aquatic resource collectors.
Nice. Marine. I feel like I want to say marine collectors. Yeah. Yeah, so Rowan, is there anything else you would like to chat to the innkeeper? Anything else you want to ask him?
Would you maybe be able to introduce me to somebody so I could go fishing? And I'll give him, or I'll put down 3 silver pieces.
Yeah, he says he doesn't need the money. He says, and he points out to sort of like 3 or 4 people in the bar, in the tavern, in the Green Dragon. He'll say, well, he's a fisherman, and he's a fisherman, and he's a fisherman. And he says, I'm sure they'll be happy to take you out on their boat if you want to.
Well, thank you for your help, man. I really wanted to go fishing today, or tomorrow, more likely.
Maybe tomorrow, yeah. Okay, so you've all had your little bit of knowledge gathering. I'm assuming that you probably go back to your rooms upstairs to bring people up to date with what's happened so you can share it. You remember there was a person at the end of the corridor where you were, if you remember that. They're no longer there. That room appears to be empty now.
Refresh my memory, we had a shared room, didn't we, all 4 of us?
No, you had 2 rooms.
Oh, 2, right.
because you and Cyrus share together.
That's right. From our old days.
Yeah, from your bondage time in Linda, if I remember rightly. And then Bartleby and Rohan shared another room, the one opposite the corridor. So you probably get into one, and if there's nothing that you need to discuss or sort out, then just let me know what you want to do for the next day, and we can move straight on to there. Magic points can be easily refreshed.
Oh, you guys suck.
So
well, I have 2 tall beers.
Oh,
first
no.
off. And so yeah, we should go to an area to like get all of our information together. But I'm giving those 2 tall beers specifically to Cyrus.
Oh.
As an apology for perhaps getting angry with you, the Church of Amriel here in Winvine would like to give you this gift.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Tech.
Yeah, I'll accept it with open arms.
Yeah.
Well, with
very
2 hands,
large.
ideally, because there's 2 mugs. So
yeah.
Texas provided some alternatives. We could have fishers, just then. Fisher folk, which I quite like.
That's good.
I quite like fisher folk, and then fish and chips. The
fish and chippers.
Yeah.
I think he just said that he wants some fish and chips.
Fish and chips sounds good right now. Oh yeah, maybe that wasn't the. Maybe I'm not following the conversation. Cyrus, you need to roll a willpower check.
Oh, okay.
you're resisting my gift?
No, he's accepting your gift, but he only drinks those.
Yes, he's resisting the urge to meet his friends. Drinks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt says ocean enjoyers.
But that ignores river folk then.
Yes, so you would have
Yes.
you would have river enjoyers.
I like folk.
Can't
because you can
piss
just
off
say
the
them,
river folk.
Like people who chop down trees. Those are lumber folk.
They're called they're lumberjacks. Just
lumberjanes.
oh,
You don't have to
You
have
got
Jack
river
or Jane,
folk,
we can just
you
folk.
have lake dwellers, you have bog lickers, you have a lot of different
Well, I don't know about
options.
bog lickers.
We've opened a whole can of worms to go fishing with.
we have. There's also gillers and trawlers, but those are usually connected to types of fishing. I am not saying that word, Matt. Okay, then if I say it, it says water bankers. That's not what it said, but there's alliterations in there. And that's all I'm saying, because I'm not saying that word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, plan of action, please, people.
All right. So plan of action. Wake up early, go find Molly, convince her to take us as close as possible to the sandbank. Go in, beat up some crab.
Sounds good.
Going on. Yeah.
Okay, so
Do you think tonight we should set watch though and sleep in the same room, in one room, because there's still 2 people out there?
As long as I get to bed.
yeah, there are. Side though. The deck says just down the street we have a corner stall called the W word. Locals call it Wonkers, so they get Wonkers Corner. Guess they probably prefer fishermen over that. I'm just not.
Well, I think there's something that maybe we should discuss. If there's a giant crab, we need something that might be a little bit more.
You might need a plan. Yeah.
Yes.
So first off, I think that
Long spears.
we have a lot of rocks, perhaps like pebbles or whatnot, and we loaded up like the cart with that. We would have something where we could throw rocks in the sand from a distance and see if that agitates anything.
Are you taking Brutus in?
No, we hell.
No, we'll get to the like.
We should use them as bait. Oh
no!
Yeah.
You're crazy, Rohan.
Actually,
if okay, so if we get to an area and it's low tide, then it's going to be a stretch of sand, and then it's going to be the
Yes.
shipwreck. If we're crossing this stretch of sand, we can just bring a bunch of rocks in our backpack, but carry it there with Brutus in the cart so that we don't have to carry it the whole way there.
why do we need rocks?
Why do we need boots and cart?
potentially
We've got a
trigger him from
ship.
a distance because he comes up out of
You
the
can't
sand.
walk to the sandbank.
No, we've got a ship.
Yeah. We're
Did
getting
you-
a ship.
I don't know whether or not I've
Yes, I-
misinterpreted it.
He's
I
too
thought we were
busy.
going at
He's
low
too busy
tide.
feeling, thinking about the
Well,
store
that's
waiters.
worse.
We're going low tide, which is when the tide will be lower around
No,
the
but-
sandbank.
Yeah, but
The
not.
sandbank's gonna just be like a little tiny aisle.
What
into
was
the
Little island,
water.
exactly. Yeah.
what was the other thing, Mr. Pickles, that you did exactly the same as this
What?
in the game? Was it about Christoph and something about a vampire or something? But I'm sure you were sort of like thinking on a totally different track.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I
I
d-
think he might be a
Yeah.
vampire.
Oh, that was it. Somebody was saying that he wouldn't come out during the day because he
Yeah.
was a vampire.
That's right. We need to load it with garlic and steaks. And you were like, what?
Yeah. So you'll have to take a boat out to the sandbank.
Okay, yeah, I'm following. And the it could be in the sandbank though. Still,
It could be. It is, according to your information. It's submerged under the sand. So you probably might see its two eyes on its
Maybe.
stalks.
Maybe, yeah.
but it could be good to have something to agitate the sand before we go there, so that we can trigger it from maybe 30 yards away or 30 meters away instead of like a stick away.
How about we take Cyrus and we tie him up with a rope and let him walk out like 30 feet ahead of us?
As bait.
And then have
So,
him
bait.
shift with the crab.
That's interesting because I'm not an anchovy.
No, but
To be ripped apart by a giant crab.
I did hear that you were the master baiter.
This is the make inwils uncomfortable show.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No,
I actually feeling that I'm sweating now.
turn that AC on.
I think putting rocks in the boat's a good idea. I think using people as bait is a bad idea.
I have another thing.
The other thing is you're not really. Do you have enough missile weapons to fight the crab at range?
No.
That's where it comes into my second idea. If we can trigger it and we know where it is, then if we have, this is mostly on you, Rohan, here to help us out with this. If we can find,
Ooh.
again, this is on you exclusively, Rohan, because I know that you're capable of this. If we have a barrel of gunpowder that we could lob at it or something, or roll over to it and have somebody who's good with fire starting, it might give us an advantage or something. Like butter on a crab.
Can I just say as well, if this thing's on a sandbar, we won't be able to fight in that sandbar because we'll just sink. Because it's going to be really, really soft sand, isn't it?
That's bad vibes.
I have an idea though.
Let's go back
Okay.
to the window.
Yeah. Oh, let's forget about this harpy queen. Good
No
grief.
problem. We'll just have a pint and just let all this blow over.
It's probably just a rumor anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an idea, but I'm gonna take a few torches with me. Can I do that?
Yeah. At the present moment in time, you're just literally discussing plans. So
Yeah.
All right. I'll just bring a whole bunch of torches with me to go and before we head off. The reason what I'm planning to do is crabs. I guess my guy wouldn't know biologically, but crabs have both lungs and gills that kind of like go between.
Normal crabs, yeah.
Normal crabs, right? If this is similar, probably something similar because it's obviously goes in the water as well. Well, I have a new thing called smother, and smother what it does is, of course, it asphyxiates you if it's successful. So the point is, if I asphyxiate it, it has two options. It can just keep fighting until it starts losing fatigue and then just and passing out, or it runs off into the water away from us to survive and try to go that, essentially breathe that way. So either way, we can either fight it till it passes out or it runs away from us because it can't breathe.
That is good to know, but I'm not sure that what we're dealing with is natural. I mean, the story that we have so far is that a blue sorcerer, Order of the Kraken, summoned something up, was dealing with monsters that were, well, I guess that was stuff that you guys were hearing. What am I saying? Presumably we all shared information more or less.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so if we know that he was
what did we all
potentially
learn
dabbling
today?
with darkness, and the Kraken people are always summoning and teleporting things, what's the chances that he succeeded on that night, summoned a devil demon goblin crab up from the ocean and destroyed a ship, and now just lives over there? Because
I don't know
it's an
where a
unnatural
goblin
monster.
came from on that, but
They always come up from underneath things, and so it came up.
the
from
goblins.
underwater.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't think goblin had anything to do with this crab.
Well,
but okay.
I'm just saying it might not necessarily be natural.
What did you
that
say?
might-
It's supernatural.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
It could just be unnatural.
We'll try the things we gotta do. Worst case scenario, we just murder it like we murder everything else.
Do these villages have things like harpoons? They wouldn't. Would
No, they're not a whaling
Just the-
village. Yeah.
It's literally going to be just spears and bows.
Maybe
Yeah.
because they had a mining area somewhat near here. Maybe Rohan, you can convince some of the locals to give up their gunpowder, or I should say, something that makes more sense for the arrow.
So the mining part was when you went with
Way north.
yeah, with
Oh, that was
tackling
further
it.
north.
Yeah. And if you remember, you did go through the village.
Yes.
That was very run down, and you don't think you'll find anything.
And
That's
to be
where they would
fair,
find stuff.
if you throw dynamite, you've got to hit it before it goes in the water. Otherwise, it's wet.
But does dynamite exist,
No, well, barrels of gunpowder, I meant, sorry.
or gunpowder? Does that actually exist in this?
Well, it can and it can't. I think what I don't wish to sort of like wipe out your plan altogether, but I think you could probably get something. There might be something that you can make one bomb like, weapon.
Yeah,
that
something like maybe alcohol or
Yeah.
that sort of-
you can make something that you can chuck and it will explode or burn on impact. I see nothing wrong with that. I don't think you're going to get something that you hit and it blows up and destroys the crab.
Well, yeah, but it would be nice to get a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah.
On it.
Or
Well,
distract
just
it.
have-
But you know
Why
what?
don't we just have the short man cook the crab?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be like Monty Python. We're going to get there, and this little small crab's going to come out from the side of the boat.
It is only a rumor, remember.
It is, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, probably it's just like there to definitely not show up, and we did all this for nothing. That's definitely for sure what's probably gonna happen, right?
No.
No.
Amriel gives me visions, and I'm
So-
sure that there's going to be something bad.
Is anybody going to seek out Molly the next day?
I'm
gonna
gonna
see
send
another
Bartleby and Hazra to seek out Molly.
Oh, you're not
Yep.
coming with us?
No, I will be around. Probably best not to talk to her. Because of I'm me. I
So,
recognize that I am
Good
me.
point.
so who's going to talk to Molly?
I'll go with Bartleby.
Okay.
Does Rohan want to come?
I'll
She-
babysit the child.
I mean, we can have Cyrus do the job I pledged that you would do.
What's that?
Find explosives and something to help us.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
they can easily do that. So let's do Molly Squaresail first. So you head down to the piers, the docks that you've been to before, and asking around, you actually get directed to who people are referring to as Molly. She has a small sailing boat as such, so it's just like a small boat with one sail on. It's not a big galleon or anything like that. It does look like, from what you can see, that it would hold all the party, but it wouldn't hold anything more than that. So it wouldn't hold a wagon, for example.
So it's more like a sort of skiff type thing.
Yeah, and she sort of like is down at the dock. She's not in her boat. She's just sat on the pier, and she seems to be smoking a pipe as well. And yeah, Bartleby and Hazra, you walk up to her. It's probably this will require an influence roll, so choose your speaker carefully.
Can I get like maybe using insight or something an idea of maybe some part of her personality based on how she's dressed, like if she is her clothing like extra rough or something, that it might be better to try and
she looks like a sailor, so she has a white, almost like cotton smock off. She wears trousers with, or breeches with boots, high boots on them. She seems to have something like a cutlass attached to her belt. She very much looks like a sailor or pirate. Until you actually start talking to her, that's what you're going to need for that insight roll.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I guess we're gonna have to approach Hazra. I'll walk on up to her and I'll say, "Hello, I'm Bartleby Fumus. Are you Molly Squaresail?"
Yeah, she looks at you up and down, and she says, "Is it fishing or the cliffs?"
What do you mean by the cliffs?
Well, people normally want me to take them out to see fish or to see, and she gestures with one hand, the wonderful scenic cliffs that happen just to the north of Winvine.
I think we're going in a different direction.
I think so too, Mr. Bartleby.
Also, this is my companion Hazra here. We're looking to go see a shipwreck, I guess. That's sort of like the cliffs. The shipwreck of the Sorcerer's Favor, by any chance? Do you?
Yeah, you can roll your insight. Both of you can roll in case somebody fails.
Narrow success.
Yeah, Hazra, you don't see or notice anything. You do see, Bartleby, for when you mention the Sorcerer's Favor and the sandbank, you do notice that there's almost like a change of demeanor for a few microseconds. She seems to change from a very confident person to somebody who appears almost like scared of that, but she really regains her composure very quickly, and she sort of like looks at you both and she says, she says, I can take you there, she says, but I'm not going on the sandbank.
Oh, well, I mean, actually, that makes it very easy for me, because that's literally all we need you to do, is bring us to the sandbank and, of course, bring us back afterwards.
He says, I'm quite happy to anchor down and let you swim ashore.
Swim ashore?
Swim to the sandbank.
So you're saying you don't even want to touch it even closely with the boat?
Hell no. Do you know what lives out there?
Yeah, a giant monstrous crab thing summoned.
Yeah. Whose one pincer can probably snap this boat in half. Again, very butch and manly, so I'm going to try to inject a bit of femininity into her.
That's a fair point about the claw. But we are aided by my goddess Amriel, and she will keep your boat safe. And certainly, with her powers through my hands, I can mend your boat should it take any damage.
She says, so do I have a guarantee on that?
As long as my hands are still attached to my arms, but yes, that it is.
She says, I'll take you out there.
What is your going cost for?
Well, you two look like you can handle the brief visit. Shall we say 10 silver each?
We would be bringing 2 other people with us, but one of them's like half a.
Oh, right. 20 silver pieces each.
20 each?
Yeah.
You know, I feel it would be
okay.
wrong to argue here, since from what I've heard, you're the only one willing to go even close to that area.
She says, yeah. She says, I've almost got the market on that.
Indeed, that's what we were told. But do you know when the best time to go there for maximum land of sandbar?
Yeah, she sort of like tells you the tide, and there's a very early morning tide. So going out round about noon will hit the low tide part.
Okay.
So it's high in the morning, drops over the noon, then it comes back again. You know, and just, well, a bit like at Matilda's place. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, we're still like pretty early morning then, so we could make it for that noon if we rounded everybody up, right?
You probably, you might be able to do it now, but it might be, you should be able to do it now. I'm quite happy for it to happen straight away.
Well, I'm gonna say to her, okay, I will either be back momentarily or hopefully tomorrow. That really depends on how my crew has assembled their arms.
Okay, then. Just before we start, Cyrus or Rohan, do either of you have a commerce skill?
I do.
Okay, so roll your commerce skill and let's see what you get.
What we got? Hey, I'm gonna use my last point of luck and reverse that because it's the end of the shit, end of the thing.
Okay, so you managed to get a small amount of explosive gunpowder or anything like that. Just, it will require an unarmed combat chuck. Okay, and it will, that will vary where it goes from the center point. So what I'll say is that, like, this is the center point. If you succeed, that's where it lands. If not, it's going in random directions. And let's just hope you don't fumble whoever's throwing it. Because I tell you now, if you fumble it, you're going to drop it in the boat. And then it just go.
And I'll have to spend
I was going to say, that's going to be a lot of fixing.
Yeah, very quickly. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, so we'll leave it there. So the next time we play, we're going to pick it up, you guys on the boat, going out to Death Pincer's island. We'll have a bit of organization at the beginning of it. If there's anything that you would like to cast spell-wise, okay, so everybody's clear about how you're going to do it, and then we'll get down and do it if that's all right.
All right.
Yeah.
Hex. Yeah.
Somebody said the art of dealing. She knows how to bargain. Matt says, ask a question, it doubles the price.
Can we? I have one question.
Yeah.
On the conversation, is it possible to get a fuse?
It comes with that.
Okay. Okay.
So you would light it and then chuck it.
What I would say is we're swimming across, remember? So what I would do is get an oil cloth, an oil sack.
Yeah.
Keep it dry.
Yeah, most definitely. And you might want to figure out what you want to take and what you don't want to take. You know, because there will involve some swimming. So be aware of that.
Thank God I've been training that up.
Yeah, do check out your check out your swimming skills. Because you should. Everybody. Yeah, so be warned. There's also on the character sheets, there is something that will let you know whether or not you will sink or float.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Is it on there somewhere? Yeah, so where it says movement, right at the end, it says swim, and then next to it, it'll either be float or sink. Okay, and that's to do with the armor that you're wearing, so it automatically calculates that for you. So when we come back next time, we'll be venturing out to the island. Just to finish off, I'd just like to remind you about various smaller plot lines that you've got that are happening that you're not too sure what is going on. So you got the plot line about this beast that was stalking you and has ravaged the town. You've also got these two people that were following Rohan, well, all of you, which has been lost now. You got the issue about your acolytes and what you're going to do with them. Hazra, you've also got your beloved here that you haven't been to see.
Oh God, yes, and Stan. Stan? What's
Yeah.
Stan, his mum, yes.
Yeah, so you haven't been to see them for a while. And then you've got the main storyline of getting the... Oh, you've got the storyline that Bartleby keeps trying to read this passage, and it seems to have some kind of mesmerization on him. And then you've got the crab to kill. And hopefully, if you can get all those parts, you'll be ready to venture into the mountains. And that'll be it then. So thank you to everybody in the chat for contributing and teaching me about United States government. I really enjoy that. Thank you for all the comments and the thanks. Do remember that you can just check out my RPG shop on Ko-fi if you'd like to go and check that out. And also there's a variety of perks out there as well that you can look into. Medivac, are you role-playing this?
We're still off until the 1st of September.
1st of September.
Our month off.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
so anybody else want to say anything that's coming up shortly on their channels?
Game of Thrones starts on Sunday.
On TV?
Yeah.
I can't watch that. Is that where he gets his head chopped off?
Yeah, but this is a new one, isn't it? The thing.
This is a prequel series.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What was I waiting for? That comes out 5th or 6th. Oh, the new Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the 5th of September that comes out.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Darth's reminded me about US. Yeah. Yes, the US history lesson at halftime was fun. And then he's put LOL, so I think it.
You're gonna test me on my history.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about Crimean War and things like that.
Yes, and quadratic equations.
Interesting situation for me.
Brilliant.
I feel like that's one that I don't know that much about.
Got a week.
You got yeah. Got a week. Brush up.
2014 was pretty crazy, guys.
Right.
Man.
Let's finish the stream because okay, we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it, and it's lovely the way that you participate and add to the stream, so thank you for that. I'll be streaming again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock when I'll be playing some Minecraft and Better Minecraft on the server, and then tomorrow afternoon will be some Elder Scrolls Online 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So do come along and check that out. Thank you for your support today. And so it's goodbye from me. See you all later. And it's goodbye from them.
Hey guys, where are you going? Hey, no, stop! No!
Game over, man.